this might be one of those dealios where you gotta learn a lesson before things go back to normal.
What the hell does that mean?
Like in the movies. You've seen It's a Wonderful Life, right?
Nope.
How about Big? You saw Ted?
No.
Really? Look, sometimes in a movie, a person thinks they want something, but then...
Oh, like in the Care Bears Big Wish movie.
Alright, let's get this quick thing out of the way. You see, Tutorial have been noticing that me and Chuck haven't been used in enough videos. And so, talking it over, for a small amount of time, me and Chuck will be used more prominently in this channel. And anyways, with all that being said, let's talk about the Care Bears.
What the hell did you just say?
Yeah, I think we all know about these saccharine things. They're a fictional group of multicolored bear characters originally painted in 1981 by Elena Kusarek to be used as greeting cards from American Greeting, but in 1983, the characters were turned into plush teddy bears. Some of the most well-known being Bedtime Bear, Sierra Bear, Funshine Bear, and everyone's favorite Grumpy Bear. The point is, it was a big success in the 80s. And of course, like Rule 34, if it exists, there was porn of it. If this exists in the 80s, there was always a cartoon about it. And, needless to say, the longer the franchise went on, the more bizarre it got. Which is why today we'll be looking at the Care Bears and their strange endeavors. Let's start simple with the Care Bears in The Land Without Feeling in 1983. Now people may not know this, but it was actually the first cartoon-based thing off the Care Bears. This was before the Care Bears TV series on 1985. The story is about Kevin, a boy who's upset that he has to move away because he missed all his friends, so he decides to run away.
I'm not going. I'll run away. That's what I'll do.
Well, I'm convinced, folks, that's pretty much the stupidest thing I've ever heard!
There really isn't that much to talk about except for one thing in this special that kind of is dark when you think about it. So Kevin is in Coldheart's castle. Coldheart then gives Kevin a sort of like potion. It then turns out that Kevin is turned into a green amphibia-like goblin, just like his henchmen. They of course change him back to normal, but here's the thing, he wasn't the only goblin. In fact, by my count, there were actually 10 goblins, and all of them were kids. This technically means that there have been 10 kids, and all of them have been kidnapped by Coldheart and have been turned into slaves.
Yippee!
Yay, slavery!
You know, sometimes willing to ask who needs to care more, the kids or the actual parents. Other than that, the special's actually pretty alright. There's nothing really too special about it though, just listen to it as background noise.
The Care Bears movie. Bring someone you care about.
We then come to the 1985 film The Care Bears movie. You may have heard this by the Nostalgia Critic.
Hey, what kind of toppings you want? I don't care. No, wait, I didn't mean to...
Hi, we're the Care Bears, and everybody has to care about something.
This movie, for the most part, is just to entertain small children, but there is stuff worth talking about. For example, it actually is revealed that the kids, Kim and Jason, are orphans since they lost their parents in a car accident. But apart from that, I think we all know the real reason why everyone remembers this movie. So, to put it simply, a kid named Nicholas finds a book. This is then when we meet the Spirit, who is practically the best Care Bears villain in general. While it's not clear entirely on what her motives actually are, it's usually helped by how she acts, most notably her voice.
Well done, Nicholas. You'll be in a deep sleep only long enough for you to take over his magic show.
Jackie Borat, the voice actor for the Spirit, did an amazing job with the character, and her voice perfectly describes how manipulative and deceptive she can be when corrupting Nicholas. She is honestly and undeniably the best part of this entire movie. The same could also be said for Care Bears the movie too, A New Generation. Darkheart, while not a menacing villain, is funny at times. You can tell that Hadley K, the same voice actor from Beetlejuice and Yin Yang Yo, had a lot of fun voicing the character, since most of his line delivery is comedically well done. And Darkheart's relationship with Christy is somewhat heartwarming, but I'm sure it's gonna be something hard to explain to their kids. There was also the third movie, Care Bears in Wonderland, but there's nothing really too much to go into except for this. We then come to Care Bears, Adventures in Care-a-Lot. As far as it goes, the series does a great job reintroducing the Care Bears to a new generation of fans. This is mostly helped by all the characters being more unique personality-wise. And that's not even going into the characters Grizzle and Oopsie.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, not a lot of people talk about these characters, which is a shame since they're both pretty interesting. In Oopsie's case, he's mostly known for making a lot of mistakes. But what is also not talked about is that Oopsie's belly badge is actually drawn on. I didn't really get it at first, but the wiki actually explains it perfectly. It explains how his true potential begins to shine through as he overcomes his own disability, often putting forth more effort and dedication to solving the problems as they arise. Which, in many cases, is actually a good lesson for kids to understand. Grizzle, on the other hand, is pretty simpler. Grizzle is actually the main villain of the show. The thing that differentiates the other villains is that he's an actual Care Bear who turned evil by choice. While the reason isn't really explained upon, his moments, like Dark Heart, are still somewhat funny. These two characters, while being only in one series, both have something to them that is worth talking about. But, to be fair, they're not the weirdest Care Bears out there in general.
Ha! It is done! In your face! You may be a whiz at lining up dominoes, but nobody beats Grizzle at building card houses!
But of course, that's not the thing I want to talk about in this franchise. That would be Care Bears Unlock the Magic. I'll admit, I made this whole entire video solely just to talk about this series, but truth be told, this show is extremely underrated. The animation is amazing. It actually reminds me of the type of shows you used to see in the hub. While the colors may pop out at you, they don't strain your eyes in this show. It's also worth noting that the backgrounds in this show are painted by hand, and looking at the different locations, each one's unique toward one another. And the villains, while being standard, are sometimes unironically funny.
Rob, did I ever tell you? You're a really nice person.
Me? Nice? Why, that is the most insulting thing I've ever heard.
Buster, boss of all bosses, you are just so caring.
I'm... what?
Caring and sharing.
How dare you!
You called me nice.
You called me caring.
You called me a Care Bear.
You called me sharing.
This show only lasted one season, which is a real shame because it's really entertaining. This show, while being slightly different from all the other previous ones, it still has the charm of the characters and the old shows before it. To be honest, I never thought I would make a video like this. For the most part, I would just assume that the Care Bears would just be this generic kids cartoon about loving and stuff. But looking more into the weird and zany stuff that had been created, it was not as big an annoyance I thought it assumed to be. In fact, it's kind of reminding me of My Little Pony in some cases. But, then again, the parodies will never not be funny.
Hi, Bedtime Bear.
Y'all know what time it is? It's bedtime. And by bed, I mean ethnic. And by time, I mean cleansing.
Care a lot, care a lot, care a lot!